Hi everybody, it's Cindy. It is Saturday, February 12th, and I'm back to do a Stitch With Me update. I'm going to show you the piece I'm working on right now. I got these in the mail this week. Hands-On Designs, Kathy Haberman. These are beautiful. These are called White Christmas, and I'm working on Noel. And I actually, if you see on my scroll frame up here, I did the church. I absolutely love the church. So this is what I'm working on today. I haven't picked up my other piece since I went on vacation. I got back from vacation on Sunday night. We had an amazing trip in Florida. It was in Hollywood, Florida, and it's close to Miami. It's not that far from where Miami is. It was a work trip, but I did bring my daughter from New York, Amanda, who met me there, and I haven't seen her in 3 years, so we had a really good time. We had great weather. It was extremely windy the first 2 days. It was very windy, but it was in the 80s, so the wind actually felt very good. They said that there was a storm coming in, and the waves were really, really rough, and I love the ocean. So the first couple of days I put my feet in the water and I went down by the water, but I didn't go into the water. But the third day we were there, the storm had passed. It definitely got hotter because the breeze died down a bit, and I was able to swim in the ocean for 40 minutes, and I can't tell you what year I got to swim in the ocean, and I absolutely love the ocean. That's definitely one of my favorite places to be. The water was so warm. It was really as warm as the pool was. And we went back and forth between the pool and the ocean because we were staying right on the beach. We were staying at Margaritaville in Hollywood. It's a beautiful hotel, very big, very clean, ocean views. I mean, it was beautiful. It was a great trip. Like I said, it's a work trip. I do sales, so I pretty much earn a trip almost every year. And we had an awesome time. It was so good to see my daughter and spend some time with her, and I got to see, of course, some of my work friends. One of my best friends, you know, we both work from home, and we mock each other. It's like a text. We text each other, or mock each other. They call it all day long, and it was good to see her too. We had an enjoyable time, and it was good to see her and, you know, a couple other workers that you normally don't get to see. So it was a great trip. I had a good trip. I was watching Priscilla and Chelsea today, and Priscilla was talking about flying out, and she wears all the bracelets and jewelry, and TSA always gives her a hard time. Well, they give me a hard time, and I don't wear any jewelry, but this time it wasn't too bad. I mean, they did have me, put my hands in the air, and they did, kind of feel my whole body down, but they didn't go down my pants in the middle of the airport this time, which it's kind of what Priscilla was saying they did to her. So it's good to know that they don't only do it just to me. But it wasn't that bad. Coming back, the airplane in Florida, TSA was really lax. I mean, nothing like Knoxville is the one that always gives me a hard time, and that's where I always fly out of. And coming back in Florida, I had, my necklace, a bracelet, and a couple rings. I really don't bring that much with me when I go away. And, I went to take off my necklace, and the guy's like, oh, no, don't worry about it. Leave your necklace on. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, they didn't do anything to me in Florida, so it's kind of funny, the difference between the airports. Every flight that I had there was a delayed flight. I was flying American Airlines. I don't think I ever flown American Airlines before, but like I said, this was a work trip. I didn't pay for it, so I didn't care what I flew. I wasn't paying for it. But leaving, we sat on the runway for a half hour, and I had to get a connecting flight to Charlotte. And that's only like a 35-minute flight. We sat on the runway for a half hour. We could have been to Charlotte already. And then we finally took off and landed. That was a super, that was a really quick flight. And then I had all of my stitching packed up and, you know, what projects. I only bring small projects with me when I go on the plane. And the night before, after I had packed up everything, I'm like, oh, you know, I'm kind of bored. I didn't feel like working on any big projects. So I pulled out and started a small project, and I left my scissors and my needle at home. I had no scissors and needle. I had everything to do the project, but I had no scissor and needle. And here I was in Knoxville Airport. I'm like, oh my, are you serious? I forgot my needle and scissor. So I went into the store, and I'm like, they had a needle set. I'm like, oh great, because they had needles in it and stuff like that. And when I opened it up, there was no scissor. So I'm like, so I go back and I'm like, well, how do you cut the thread if there's no scissor in here? And she's like, oh, you know, we don't sell scissors, of course, because we're in an airport. I'm like, great. So the flight on the way down, I could not stitch. So I was actually watching FlossTube in the airport. I was watching Nicole Buckeye. So I was just like, she entertained me for a little while I was in the airport. But then the flight between Charlotte and Florida, there wasn't a whole lot of time in between the flight, and I was fine with that. It was, you know, an early flight. It was like a 9 a.m. flight, so of course I was up super early. So when I got to Florida, I'm like, okay, my goal is to find a pair of scissors, because I had the needles from the kit I bought. It was so hard to find a pair of scissors because we're in a tourist area. You know, we're on a boardwalk, all hotels and restaurants, and, you know, a couple of gift shops. So I'm like, oh no, I was tracking all over that place looking for scissors. I mean, I go into all these convenience stores. I'm like, you have scissors? And the guy's like, no. He goes, come here. I got a big pair. You wanted to sell me a big pair of scissors. I'm like, no. I'm like, those will be no good for the plane. So I couldn't buy them. But then on the boardwalk, there was a shop that sold luggage. I'm like, oh, this is probably my best bet. So I go in there and I ask the guy, I go, you got scissors? He also offered me, he goes, I don't have any scissors. I'll sell you mine though. I'm like, no, those are too big. I can't have those. I mean, they were really nice. They were like willing to sell me their own scissors, but he's like, hold on a second. So he goes out and he comes back and he had a nail kit with clippers, nail file, and inside was a tiny pair of scissors. I'm like, perfect, sold, I'll take it. So I did actually get my scissors and needles, so I'll never do that again because I love to sew, you know, stitch on the plane. And it was kind of funny, and we were just laughing. I'm like, oh boy, only me. Here I am trudging through all of Hollywood, Florida, looking for scissors. All right, this is my next color. Give me 1 second. That's the color. I did switch up the colors on this. I'm using a lot of my Victorian motto colors because I've known Nancy for a long, long time from her blog. I've been blogging for 10 years, so I, you know, been getting her threads, and I'm starting to use them all. And I do belong to the monthly club. I love her threads. The colors are awesome. So what I did is I just took the chart. I'm like, okay. I go to my bin and I just match up the colors that look like it is on here. It's really not that hard to just choose your own colors. But yeah, so I did get to stitch on the trip. Not a whole lot because, you know, I had an awards dinner, and then I had a meet and greet dinner. It was so windy, I definitely couldn't sit on the beach and stitch, which is what I thought I was going to do a lot. But you know, I did have a couple of downtimes where I was able to stitch some stuff, and I will definitely show that in my next real update video of what I was stitching on those. And I did get 5 small stitching projects done, you know, small motif projects, and they were fun to do, and you know, I had a good time doing them. you know, my daughter was reading her book on her Kindle, so while she was doing that, I was stitching. That's when we were sitting at the pool, and we were not really bothered by any wind. So we had a good time. It was a great trip, and you know, I'm behind on all of my floss too, because I didn't watch any while I was there. I was too busy. And you know, I've been catching up during the week. I actually had a really busy week. I was out in the garden a lot, and that takes up a lot of time. I didn't stitch. I stitched during the day a little bit, but I didn't stitch at night the last several nights, and I never do that. I always stitch every night, and I was too tired too. I was exhausted. I've been super busy. We were busy in work this week, and we haven't been busy for a long, long time, so it was good to be busy. The day flies. I don't mind being busy, but at nighttime, you know, after attending to the gardens and stuff like that, you know, I do my 4 or 5 mile walk after work, and then I tend to the gardens, and by that time, you know, it's getting pretty late and dark, and usually I'm up 11, 12 at night. And I probably was up that late, but I was catching up on videos, and I was really, my eyes were just too tired to stitch. So I'm like, all right. And I'm never like that, but I guess, you know, you're just getting back into the groove of things, so that's fine with me. I didn't care. Listen, I get a lot of stitching done. The church piece, I'll show you the pattern. Look up if you're not looking. This church is gorgeous. It is beautiful. Now I changed the belt to silver, and I backstitched in black. And at the end of this video, I'll give you a sneak peek of it finished stitch. I didn't fully finish because it's still on the frame, but I'll show you what it looks like. It is a, I don't know. These are all pretty, but I think the church is my favorite. And I stitched that in one day. That's a really quick stitch, so I do recommend that. Beautiful, beautiful piece. Absolutely love it. I'm excited to finish that. Now this morning, I woke up really early. I don't know why. I woke up at 5:30. I'm like, 5:30? I don't start work till 8:30, so I'm like, oh, I'm up way too early. So let me make sure I counted this right. Okay, I did. Farm girl Michelle Rudy posted her video of their retreat, and boy, let me tell you something, she does an amazing job. Yeah, Michelle was showing all of the work. A lot of the ladies bought, I don't know if they're local to where Michelle was holding the retreat, but one lady, I think her name was Donna, she bought a ton of cross-stitch finished pieces, framed and everything, and they were gorgeous. I mean, some of the patterns were really old cross-stitch patterns. She's definitely been stitching for years, and there's several people that bought. If I went to a big retreat like that, I would just be oohing and ahhing over all the pieces stitched. That'd be like just dazed by looking at all the cross stitch. And that would be me, because I think they're so beautiful. They're really beautiful pieces of art, and you know, Michelle puts together a really nice retreat, and she was showing photos of the location and the food. Even the food looked amazing. It was there's a lot of the ladies, of course, that we know and we enjoy watching, and I was so thankful for that. She, you know, took the time to do the footage, and so at least we could feel like we were there a little bit, even though we're not there. You got to get the feel of what the retreat was like, and it was beautiful. And she did a really good job, and kudos to you, Michelle. I don't think she watched my stitching with me videos, but that's okay. And she does awesome work, and yeah, all the ladies, they all look like they are having a great time, and you know, just sitting and stitching. And when she was showing some of the finished pieces, you could hear Holly and Anita cracking up in the back. They have such distinctive laughs. I just started laughing because you can hear them in the background. So it was kind of funny. I mean, they went, and a whole bunch of people went. It was awesome. You know, what a blessing that they live close enough where they could go to something like that, you know. I live quite a ways. And with my work schedule, it's very hard for me to just take off random time. I have to put in my vacation time and things like 6 months in advance, so it's very hard for me to schedule things like that. But I'm really, next year I'm going to try to go to a retreat, so we'll see. And if I can't go, listen, I got Floss Tube, and I got all the ladies, they share their stuff, and, you know, people like Michelle Rudy, you know, doing footage and showing everything. And oh, they had a table of all the exchanges. One was cuter than the other. Oh, they were just beautiful. Like I said, I love looking at all the stitching. I was just like, oh, look at all, so many beautiful pieces. It's amazing, really, how much they did there. And you know, the ladies look like they had an awesome time, you know, and good for them. If you haven't seen Michelle's retreat video, I highly recommend you go take a look at it. You will thoroughly enjoy it. It's just such a super treat to watch that. I really enjoyed it. And Mary Rosa's last video, Stitch Bliss Corner, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. She finished up an amazing stitching piece of Scout, and she had it fully framed, and oh, it was just beautiful. It really is a work of art. Gorgeous. It's definitely on the level of a Heaven and Earth piece, so if you haven't seen it, go watch Stitch Bliss Corner's last video. Mary Rose did an amazing job, and she was telling, you know, about Scout and how, you know, she just stitches in a hoop, and she shows she has like this pillow that she leans it against, and she stitched this amazing piece that way, which just is amazing to me how she does it. So it goes to show you really don't need tons of equipment to stitch. I mean, I like my frame though. I like my two-handed stitching, but everybody does it different. And the piece that she did, it's gorgeous. So go take a visit for her if you haven't seen that one either. You know, I got back, I had all those, you know, had her video to catch up. I mean, I had a whole bunch of videos to catch up on, and I really get so much joy watching other stitchers, and I know people get a lot of joy from watching my videos too. And listen, if I can make somebody smile or laugh, or give them an idea, or show them a pattern that you just have to have, that's what this community is about. It really is a sharing community, and it's just a joy to be a part of it. It's really a great community, and we all love sharing our hobby and what we like to do and things like that. So yeah, it's definitely enjoyable. The garden is coming along great, and my next update video, you know, my reel where I'm showing all my finishes and things, I'll definitely have footage of the garden. The garden has really sprouted, and the sunflowers are starting to grow and get tall. And I actually ate lettuce from my garden today, so yeah, the garden is really, it's doing well, and it's, you know, growing. And to me, the garden always amazes me. It's just one of the things that always amaze me. I could plant some seeds, and up out of the ground comes food. I still have that sense of a little kid when it comes to the garden. I guess that's a good thing. I didn't lose that as I age. As we get up in years, it's still something that I absolutely enjoy and love. And I love being out in nature, and you know, when I got back from Florida, we went right into 80-degree weather, and it seems like we went like from cold to summer almost. I've been in shorts the last couple of days, and even today and tomorrow it's going to be close to 90, which is really hot for this time of year. But there's been a slight breeze, so as long as there's a slight breeze, it's not too hot. But I did have to put the air conditioning on already, and yeah, well, we're in the middle of May, so I guess that's expected. But the spring, to me, it just seems like we really didn't get much of a spring, and I'm of course curious to see if we're going to have a really extremely hot summer. I mean, it was a crazy winter, not a typical winter at all, so we shall see what we get. I know tomorrow's day is Mother's Day, so all of the mothers out there, I hope you have an amazing and enjoyable Mother's Day. Us moms, we do a lot, and even if you don't have kids, I'm sure you've given love and caring and nurturing to someone else's kids at some point. Everybody, sit back, relax, you enjoy your Mother's Day, and do what you want to do, and just enjoy the day, and enjoy yourself. Hopefully you get some special stitching time in. My kids all live out of state, so I know I won't see my kids tomorrow, which is fine. My sister's working, so maybe I'll go by after work. I usually will see her on Monday, but we'll see. Maybe after she gets out of work, I'll go by later on at night, see her. But I'll be having a good day. It's going to be nice out. I'm definitely going to get in my 5-mile walk and maybe go to the park early, not during the day because it's going to be super hot. So, tending to the garden. I'll definitely be stitching tomorrow, catching up on the rest of my videos that I'm behind on. But I didn't have too many more to go, so I caught up pretty quick. I do watch a lot of people, so if I miss 4 or 5 days, and people are doing Stitch Mania right now. There's a ton of videos coming out a lot, and it's very hard to watch them all. So as you can see, I did the star in the middle. I did that in silver, and it's really pretty. It'll give it some spark. I want it kind of to match the other one. So on that note, everybody, I hope everybody has an amazing Mother's Day. Happy stitching. Bye-bye.